Well, well, well. What we got here then? Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, so psychodrillas, ex-girlfriends in my group. Not Jojo, the one he had previously. In some of his earlier videos. And what she's got to say is quite interesting. He's bitter and twisted and a police informer. Because not only did they grass me up, he told me what he'd done. Jojo can't handle the fact he has anything to do with me, even though it was my back she went behind in the first place. Ooh. Driller the little player. Check Driller the player. Yes, the dirty little meaty man in a caravan behind your back. When you'd only known him for 2 minutes. And she got pregnant instantly. Woo. And had an abortion. And then grasses his ex up because he tells lies about whether he'd seen me or not. Jojo, don't you scared? So, Driller met Jojo. Jojo got pregnant. Driller panicked, went back to the original missus. Jojo had an abortion. Driller was like, and then he lied about seeing his original missus. Yeah, this is funny though. Everyone knows me and Slappy don't get on. But regarding, in fact, let's go straight to it. Let's go straight to it, motherfuckers. Right. I'm shit round fucking YouTube and that. Right. How do I get my messages? Inbox. Right. Video manager. Dun dun. This is really interesting, really. For those that are keeping up with the dramas. Gotta have a bit of drama, ain't ya? Everyone loves a bit of EastEnders, but yeah. I don't know what all this is about. I only watched it last night. But check this. I don't know if you've watched Driller's Void Mortgage video, but he's mentioning me on it. I only watched it last night. I saw this, like something about sock puppets. Apparently it's got a load of thumb downs, but even his own mate, who he tries to use against me. Captain Slappy. I mean, if you, I don't know if anyone knows Slappy's work, but you only have to read this to know that he's being sardonic. He's taking the piss. I know he's taking the piss. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, me and Slappy, but I know that he ain't going to agree with this more. I know he knows enough law to know that this void mortgage shit is just bullshit. Ah, and the flint's just gone in my lighter. I'm going to have to pause this. Back in a sec. I'm just going to find another. Yes. I have fire. So yeah. Some little prat jumping on the bandwagon, innit? Speaking to Slappy like he's on par with Slappy or something. No, don't get me wrong, right? Yeah, I slap Slappy about, but Slappy will slap every other fucker about. Yeah, I'm not kissing ass or nothing, but he knows his shit. Yeah, he knows his shit compared to all of these other muppets. Alright, yeah. I don't know why he gives Driller as much time as he does. It's none of my business. According to this Brian, when he means bad apple, We are all vessels, and so is the courtroom. Ha ha ha. He doesn't understand fictio, apparently. Well, no, of course I wouldn't understand it. But I understand maxims of law, mate. Yeah. And you got nothing but a fucking slap around the face from Slappy by even trying to speak to him or chat with him like you're on par. Man overboard, wait a minute, so obvious now. You know, if you're not a vessel, what are you, a man overboard? Your body is 90% water. Yeah? So unless you're just fucking flowing down drains every time you go out, you know what I mean? You are a vessel that contains water. Your blood is blue until it gets mixed with oxygen. We're all like fucking lizards, man. We all shed skin. It's called dust. Yeah? Go around your house dusting. You're just shredded like a snake. Anyway, fuck it. Wait a minute. It's so obvious now. I walk into a place of bidness, beg for a contract. Now, even all the commonly known as Dom fans that are out there, yeah, they know when you beg for something, yeah, or submit a form or applicate or anything like that. I'm not fully confident with application. For instance, I can applicate a cup of tea. Yeah, I get a cup, I add a tea bag to it. I'm applicating every time I add water to it. Adding is applicating, right? It's not necessarily begging. Yeah, it's application is not totally synonymous with enhancement, but it's along those lines more than begging to me anyway. But still, you know, if you fill out an application form, it's a begging form, I get that. But not to applicate doesn't necessarily mean fill out a fucking form. But the rest of it's pretty much coherent, yeah? To submit a form, etc, etc. So when you beg for a contract, it's implied in law, because the law works completely on assumptions and presumptions. That's why you get a letter in your mystery name all the time. Because they're allowed to assume. Everyone's allowed to assume when the majority do something, yeah? Let me explain the assumptions and presumptions in law, right? If you've got a basket full of fruit, but there's 50 oranges in it, and there's 5 apples, 5 pears, 5 strawberries, and 5 grapes, right, yeah? The chances of me randomly, with my eyes shut, putting my hand in the basket and picking out an orange is more presumable. And it's more of a, it's, you know, if I assume, I can assume I'm going to pick an orange, right, yeah? And off that assumption, someone else, a third party, can presume that I'm going to pick an orange too. So, in that aspect, if the majority of the country do something, they're oranges, right? So it's totally lawful and legal for firms, bailiff firms, this, that, and all the rest of them to assume you're an orange and send you a letter in your mystery title. They might get a pear or a grape or something like that, and it will be a different tasting type of fruit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But unless they know specifically what they are going for, they can assume they're going to pick an orange 50% of the time, plus because that's what's in the basket. Right? That's how the law works. Yeah. If you got, and that's where the term fruitful and things like that comes from. And yeah, it's all based upon those sort of things. So there's assumptions and presumptions in layman's terms for you, yeah. But anyway, if an orange or a grape or anything like that begs to be something else, you know, it's pretty obvious they know what they're begging for, or begs for something, right? Yeah. So if you walk into a bank or any place and beg for what they're giving, it doesn't have, of course, you know, it's prosecutable if it isn't lawful and coherent with English law. For instance, you can go and beg for a crime to be committed against you, and if that other corporation commits a crime, they're still liable for the crime, even though they have your consent. Unless you travel abroad to a land where you can say, chop my hands off. Someone will just go, chop your hands off, and they will never get punished because you asked them to chop your hands off. There's lands like that, with laws like that, where no one will give a fuck and just carry on walking past, right? You can't come back to this country or this land and then prosecute and then, yeah, right? Now, this is what a few of you need to get and comprehend. A few of you know about the banking district, the square mile. It's classed as an island itself. It's not part of the English Empire or Britain or as a whole, right? Yeah, it's its own independent island where people have diplomatic community, etc. The Bank of England, like Jesus of Nazareth, right? When Jesus was called, "Are you Jesus of Nazareth?" He wasn't in Nazareth. He was out of Nazareth. This is where this type of law comes from. Bank of England, the bank out of England. You know, should be clicking in around about now. Which gives credit legally presumed by both parties. So that, you know, he's even Slappy knows that, you know, a contract between two people and there's an agreement in place makes the law. And in any court de facto, those are the facts. Yeah. And because there's more than 50 oranges in the basket doing these types of lawful contracts with the agreements already set in place, the judicial system can presume, yeah, and assume that people are getting exactly what they're asking for because they keep asking for it. Anyway, statutory, so yeah, he's not wrong, because it falls within the coherent Magna Carta. Listen, when slavery was abolished and blah 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 and rah rah rah, exploitation wasn't abolished. You get me? Yeah, you know. If someone willfully wanted to spit shine shoes because they had nothing else to do and other than to do that because they had an abundance of shoe polish, no one could stop them from willingly wanting to earn a bit of graft by shining shoes, right? Slavery, you know, but being kidnapped from a country, put on a boat to come here to clean shoes was made unlawful, and rightfully so. But no one could stop a man getting on a boat, coming over here and cleaning shoes. Right? Slavery and the abolishment of slavery didn't abolish exploitation. Exploitation is completely lawful. Yeah? So you know, an agreement means you have a contract that's remediable. I hope that, I'm sure that's a word, but you can seek remedies with the contracts in place in a court, where if you fall on your agreement, the banks can seek a remedy, and if the banks fall on their agreement, they set the tone. Yeah, and you can therefore, you know, seek a remedy in the same merits. None of this bullshit. Oh, they'll change the rules. They'll change the rules. No, they won't. No, they won't. Not in a Commonwealth. The risk is too high. At the top of the pyramid, to risk just one shitty little case over one house and change all the rules of everything because of your shitty little house. There's an empire at stake. Yeah, your shitty little house isn't worth the empire to the top of the pyramid, and it never will be. Yeah. The rules don't get the laws of this land, England, have been here now, in effect, the way they are today, for around about 300 years. You know what I mean? Yeah, and they work brilliantly. They work sufficiently if you have studied enough to comprehend it. Sign off on it, and it's void because I signed it and don't like it later, and I don't want to pay on it. Yeah, if you owe a man, right, be it a bank manager or your fucking librarian or the window cleaner that comes once a fucking fortnight, if you owe a man, you fucking pay him, man. And it doesn't matter whether it's cash, the sterling that's provided. It can be electronic payments. You can pay him in coffee for all I care. Quoting a Supreme Judge. The judicial system doesn't dictate how you should pay. You know what I mean, yeah? As long as it's... as long as it balances, yeah? As long as it's worth, like, exactly what it's worth. In today's climate market, you know, which is a reasonable demand. You can't say, oh, my clipper lighter is worth 10 million to me, so I'll just quash your debt with my clipper lighter. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can't do things like that. But still, yeah, the judicial system doesn't dictate how you pay, as long as you do. If you owe a man. And this is just purely sardonic, you know what I mean? Yeah, sarcastic. It's genius because this is full of shit. He knows it. I know it. You know what I mean? Anyone with half a fucking brain cell, yeah. And Driller replied, didn't it? Driller replied to like Slappy, right? Yeah. I mean, I know they're mates, but you know, Driller's not even. It's like nowhere near the same league. Certainly it's not in the same league. But like Driller jumps the gun with everything. He jumped the gun with Holly Gregg. Yeah. Then he did a video apologising. He did something else, jumped the gun, then he did a video crying about it. Oh, I'm sorry. He's doing it again now. Right, Driller, when you make a mistake, we all make mistakes. You know what I mean? Everyone can make a mistake. They're more than forgivable. It's what makes us men and women. Yeah, what makes things humorous in life. Life is meant to be full of mistakes. Brilliant, right? Yeah. But if you keep making the same one, that's called a choice. Yeah, it's no longer a mistake. It's called a choice. So why are you choosing to make the same mistake over and over and over again? Stop jumping the gun and do some fucking research. Oh, bad he just points a finger and he does this and does that. No, mate, I do my fucking research. Right, there's no one else out there at the moment quoting specifics within the Magna Carta. But I am. I would say apart from me, I don't watch everyone's shit. There's probably some people out there doing it. I hear Magna Carta 2015, Magna Carta this, Magna Carta that, Magna Carta. I hear no specifics. I'm bringing up doctrines that fall into the categories of law today that the statutory, the statutory tools and implements have been put on top of those doctrines. And if you know and comprehend those doctrines coherently, yeah, oh man, you can have such a fun time with the statutes and everything. It's all honourable. Someone's got an offence against me. Guilty. Come on, bring it on. Let's go to court. I'm guilty. I'll conditionally be guilty on any offence. Let's go to court and I'll woo. Everyone should be happy about going to court, pleading guilty for all of their offences. No crimes. I'm not talking about pleading guilty to crimes. I'm talking about offences. In a state of bankruptcy, parking tickets, this, that, everything, right? Yeah, can be so much fun and joyful, and be fun for the judges too. Do you know what I mean? Because they're getting paid anyway. Do you know what I mean? And I have no doubt in my heart of heart, because a lot of what the judges do, right? Yeah, even in the face of controversy, is try to educate fellow man. Do they still get paid, drive nice cars, have big fucking mansions and whatever? Yes. But do they still try and educate the fellow man? Yeah, of course they do. I see it. I see it. And what they say has always more than one meaning. Even when they're speaking in common tongue, they're trying to guide people and direct them. Right, yeah? And if people leave the court buildings and leave their offences with attitudes and carry on with their shitty life, jump on Xbox, carry on with their shitty job and blah, 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 and not actually study definitions of law and digress it back as far as they can. So it bypasses religion and all that other shit, yeah, and it starts touching people in the heart about how to be honourable and how to be dishonourable honourably, right? Because it's all a curse. There's only ever higher levels of curses, right, yeah, or dishonour. There's honourable levels of dishonour, but it's all dishonourable. Once you comprehend that, you know you've never been righteous. Once you comprehend that, you know you've never been right. And all of your arguments in the past, everyone you've tried to deny, you've never been right. Huh? And you've just had people probably along the way messing with you that know this stuff already, innit? That just letting you create your own reality with your own bullshit fiction. Yeah, but all that other stuff's fiction, Bing. It's like, alright, it may be fiction, but it's like, it's over 300 years old, and I've studied some dead Latin, innit? And I can't, there's no point me bringing it up because it would take hours. But like, look at the Latin quotes in the Black's Law First editions, right, yeah? And you get like a little paragraph in English translating it. Now, listen, a paragraph in dead Latin, when you digress all this lawful knowledge back to its sources, there's about 5 or 6 sheets of A4 paper of translation. A paragraph is, so the lawful language that we use that administrates us all, when you digress it back, right, yeah, you're talking monstrous stories. Right? Monstrous stories that took fucking forever to interpret through a single paragraph, through a bodily expression and echo coming out of a man's mouth that stems back from the Latins. It's not Roman law per se. Romans just stole it, man. Romans were good at stealing, pillaging and conquering. And everywhere they conquered, they distributed one thing, and that was a language and a law, a way of doing things. And it is, the Latins had a perfect way of settling dispute amongst men. And the Romans stole that. But they stole everything else from all the other lands and countries and people they invaded apart. But they injected one thing, and that was the language and law. A lot of you might think, yeah, to govern and rule and blah. No. Because it did honourably set the tone. Yeah. It created fictions for everyone where it's all a lie, but it's all about your heart and how much you believe in your lie. Yeah, it becomes real. And it's your faith that makes it real. I mean, when you take all the bullshit aside with the banks, you're left with a house that's attached to the earth, the ground. That comes under a different set of laws. It comes under natural laws, in fact. Yeah, to a degree. What's connected to the earth is classed as part of the earth, right? And houses are built into the earth. Some of them are, some of the old English houses are just as tall, yeah, underground, or half as tall underground as they are street level, yeah, or from above, right? Anyway, that's my little rant over. But apparently it's not about I don't like it later. Yes, it is. It's just about I don't like it later. We're in a state of bankruptcy and people just don't like it. That's all it is. They just don't like it and don't know how to deal with it. Well, tough shit is. Right, yeah? The New World Order isn't anything the governments can control, even if they wanted to. It's a spiritual shift, the way the Earth turns. It's not the magnetic blah blah blah. It's all connected. The travelling behind the sun throughout the galaxy, never in the same part of the space twice. It's just a general. Everyone gets a little bit more intelligent. Governments can't control intelligence. Like, yeah, they can try and dumb you down, keep you sidetracked, keep you arguing, keep you focused on other things. Right? Yeah, but the thing that's inside you, they can't stop. It's natural, right? So it is about I don't like it later, and you don't know how to handle your way out of it. But like I was just about to say, tough titties. All the people owning houses, driving smart cars now, blah blah blah, with the nice system, with the system that's in place, that's fucking up, right? Yeah, got nothing to do with the judicial system, just the economic structure that's fucking up because of everyone else's greed, including mine, yours, your next door neighbours, your doctors, your nurses, your GPs, your MPs, your police. Everyone's selfish and greedy to a degree. No matter how caring they are. So the global national economic structure is only a representation of all of our ignorance to a substantial degree. So it is just that you don't like it. Yeah, when you make an agreement, you make an agreement. Especially with foreigners, Bank of England. You make an agreement with Jesus of Nazareth. You want to bet he fucking kept them to it. If the story's true, I'm not religious or nothing like that, but you know, there must have been a guy called Jesus around a long time ago or something like that. No smoke without fire, as they say. Oh wait, if you didn't follow the required process, well, you voided our contract. I'm not refusing to pay. I'm happy to pay once you have proven your side of the contract was adhered to, as above, so below, apparently. Right. So you got legal tender, legal contracts, right? All the legal fictions to give you something that's natural in law, a house that's built into the earth, right? Yeah. And you want to give them a lawful argument to not pay your legal bill. Shut up, man. Even if we were reincarnated and we built the pyramids and everything, and we have a general right to fucking claim of whatever the fuck we want, even if that was provable, that ain't gonna last very long, is it? People need to work, people get lazy, people will just mess stuff up. You know what I mean? Yeah, people will just be rude and arrogant and drive their cars through people's orchards of pear trees and stuff like that, and just but I'm free, I can do what I want. Yeah, it will get like that. You know, minds need occupying. If you want a house, you've got to work for it, ain't it? That's fair enough. You either got to literally do business with people that sell bricks and build it yourself, whatever, yeah, or you got to go out to a fictionally created job. Don't forget, the system provides fiction. People go out to fictional jobs and push paper around and do this and do that and scribbles. It's not a real job. It's not like going into the mountains for 6 months with a pickaxe, with blood coming out of your fingers and coming home with a few nuggets of gold, melting it down with a few other metals in it, and making some tools and selling the tools to feed your family with. That's fucking graft. Yeah, and stuff like gold represents proper graft, real men did, with the elements against nature. Yeah, now people get legal tender that ain't worth that much, a dilution from gold coins, because they don't do real graft no more. It's a fictional made up job to occupy the mind, to let you accumulate real stuff that's built into the earth, because, you know, you have a natural right to it, but minds need occupying, because otherwise things will just get destroyed naturally. I can digress here from the people that are going to, but what about the MPs and politicians that start wars and ruin countries and set up nuclear power plants? I don't vote for them. If you don't vote for them and you don't fucking It's them. They're a governing body, a governing state. They're governing a sovereign state. They're governing as like one whole man. Yeah, the government is like pretending to be one whole man. Yeah, one whole man will always think about his probably his selfish needs first. Because if you can't think of your selfish needs first, you can't look after anyone else. Yeah, if I don't feed myself, I can't keep my family life, for instance. Like, yeah, right. I can't sustain life for my family, for instance. Yeah, right. If I was bringing it back to caveman times and I was the hunter, if I didn't feed myself, I'm not feeding my family. So there's virtue in selfishness. Yeah, do you get it? So if the governing state, yeah, the sovereign state is governing for all the people who can't govern for themselves and acting as one body, right? It's going to think of itself first so it can look after other people, right? It's not right. The majority are never right because of that aspect. Yeah. But I don't vote. I don't do none of that. I don't start no wars. I'm not a soldier. I have never put a bullet in a gun and then stuck it in someone's head or a child's head in another country over some political fucking manifest. Right? It doesn't. It's not my problem. It is a problem, but it's not my problem on my doorstep right now. Yeah. If I ever educated myself enough to engage with the people that administer this level of work, i.e., wanted to get myself high up in the community, become a constituent, and then from that try to engage in argument in world politics, etc., and get on that level field intellectually, then it might have something to do with me. I'll be the yin or yang in that field, and that's what I assume other spirits are doing, because there's always good and bad in everything. Where someone's creating a war, there's someone trying to stop it in the same field. Yeah. Or limiting the damages to the best of their abilities. Anyway, that's my rant over. But driller, man, you know what I mean? You jump in the gun. Yeah, this is all bullshit. This is a way for the banks and all the administrative service. All them fictional jobs I was just talking about, that doesn't really constitute real graft with the elements. Yeah. It's a fictional job created to occupy people's minds, right? They could disappear. We'd all still be alive. We'd all still have life. Those jobs don't mean nothing, yeah? So the value, currency-wise, to go alongside those fictional jobs have to represent it, considering gold was fucking clawed out with bleeding hands from mountains and the elements, yeah? You get it? Yeah. Right? It's as simple as that, man. And when you beg, and like Slappy's trying to help you save face, yeah. I don't get on with none of you pricks. I think you're all idiots, innit? Yeah, I think you're a bunch of fucking dickheads, like. But he's trying to help you, yeah. He's trying to make you not look like a mug. You're making yourself look like a mug. It's fucking. This fucking site you're advertising, Void Mortgage, the first thing that's on it is donate buttons. We accept Visa and all this fucking crap. Yeah, I bet you do. Anyway, peace, man. That was my morning spliff rant. I'm going to trap. It's half hour long. Peace.